I've driven 46 miles to get here tonight. And I live 8 miles away. This is a nice spot. I like this spot. It's good, Toby. I'm gonna tell Susan Scott. Toby's a heck of a spot picker. I'll introduce me as sports editor, Daily News, and say sports reporters, that we like being called.
Friday night, and you know what that means. It's football time. Welcome to the Battle of the Border pregame show, sponsored by SJ Needhawks Lumber. Tonight, the Allegheny Cougars travel to Greenbrier East to take on the Spartans. Here are your hosts, Brandon Baker and Topher Metz, coming to you live from Spartan Stadium.
The Lady Spartan softball team is selling 50 tickets this evening. We'll be walking around the bleachers selling the tickets. We'll draw for the 50-50 winner at halftime.
Good evening, everybody. We are live here at Spartan Stadium for Greenbrier East and Allegheny. The battle for the border and the playing for the ABK trophy here tonight are the Spartans and the Cougars. I'm your host, Brandon Baker, sports editor for the West Virginia Daily News. And this is Topher Metz, the sports reporter for the Virginian Review. Topher, good to have you here tonight. And how excited are you to watch this one?
Super excited. The weather's great. Looks like it's going to be a great crowd. Since the consolidation, we've no longer had the Brackman Cup, so this kind of takes its place, and I think it's going to be an exciting game.
Yeah, we're in a really nice little spot here off to the side by ourselves. My only complaint is I wanted to wear my sunglasses for this, but not going to happen, but it's going to be a good little show here. So, Greenbrier East last week defeated Woodrow Wilson, their biggest rival, 28-14. They hadn't beaten them in 3 seasons, but they got it done last week in impressive fashion. Nate Suttle had a school record 100-yard interception return for a touchdown that kind of just turned the game in the Spartans' favor, made it 21-14. They added a late A.J. Godfrey touchdown run in the second half to seal that game, again 28-14. The last 2 years in this series between East and Allegheny, Topher, Allegheny's kind of dominated. Last year they won 42-7. 2 years ago they won 49-10. But Greenbrier East has a lot of seniors this year, and I know you watched Allegheny last week. Allegheny, they lost a lot of good talent, but they got a lot back. Who's some key players to watch for tonight for the Cougars?
Right. I was talking to Coach Fields after the game last Friday, and they did lose a lot of key players last year or this year, but a lot of the players have stepped up into those roles, and he was very pleased with how it turned out. I think that Sarge Persinger is going to be one to watch.
About the quarterback,
Yeah.
Des Jordan.
Des Jordan, of course, he's going to be on fire tonight. And what I thought was interesting was the kicker that filled in for
Mason Hale,
Mason
right?
Hale.
Yeah. I saw that he kicked really well last week.
Yeah, because Mason's out with a preseason injury, so
yeah.
I was wondering who they was going to get as a kicker, and Phillips is his last name. He seemed to do a real good job last week.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I've watched Des Jordan the last couple seasons. He is fast. He can throw. Threw for 106 yards last week. Ran for 123. Had 3 total touchdowns. Only threw 2 incompletions. So I think he's going to be obviously a big player to watch. And also for Allegheny, you didn't mention him, but he pops in my head frequently for them is Jay Godfrey.
Yeah.
They lost A.J. Godfrey to East, who we just mentioned.
Right.
But Jay Godfrey last year against East I think he had a long touchdown catch, and then he had a long interception return, like 79 yards for a touchdown. It kind of just sealed the deal. I think he was our Virginia Review player of the game last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
But he had a huge game, so he's still here, so he's going to have to watch him.
Right.
For the Spartans, well, actually, I don't want to go to the Spartans yet. Brady May from the Spartans also to East, where A.J. Godfrey was from Allegheny to East. So Brady May back at Allegheny where he started. I've heard through the grapevine, I haven't seen it, but I had some people close to me and close to the situation say there was some social media drama going on, some trash talking going on between these two teams, which may actually make this game even more interesting if you throw that in.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting point, and that's one thing Coach Fields hit on last week is, the penalties. Last week, penalties, it's early in the season, so I mean, that's common, but you don't want it to keep going, because if it does, then it's going to end up being a little costly for them. Hopefully that chemistry, doesn't mix the wrong way on the field and end up costly to one of the teams.
Right, we're going to take a little break here. We're going to talk about East when we come back. This show is sponsored by S.J. Niehawk Lumber, so we'll be right back right after this.
Let's hear it for the best AHS. Let's hear it for the best AHS. Let's hear it for the best AHS. Let's go Cougars!
I told him ice my wrist up. I like to hold my fist up. How to put a baby in me and they get me. Why keep it 5
Niehawk Lumber has been serving the community with quality products and expert advice. We are here to help with any size project. When you're ready to talk to someone who knows, call S.J. Niehawk Lumber. Since 1947, S.J. Niehawk Lumber has been serving the community with
Okay, we're back here. Once again, the show presented by S.J. Niehawk Lumber. So some key players for Greenbrier East tonight. You mentioned A.J. Godfrey, transferred from Allegheny. Got to be excited to play his former team this evening. He has 283 yards rushing so far this season. He's averaging almost 142 yards a game. He scored 3 touchdowns. They ride him late in games, especially. Last week they did that against Beckley. They gave him the ball like 9 times on an 11-play drive. And he just absolutely runs hard through the line. You can tell that the defense doesn't want to tackle him. And so if East can hang around here tonight, which I'm hoping they can, thinking they can, and make it a good one for us to watch, they may try to ride him late, especially against his old team. He'll be motivated. Another player, quarterback Brody Hamrick, has not been real consistent yet throwing the ball, just 12 out of 28 in the first 2 games. He's thrown for 131 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns. When he gets out of the pocket, he is a running threat. He's not as fast as Des Jordan, but he's a pretty good athlete that can definitely gain some yards on the ground. And another player I'm going to watch for, well, 2 more players actually, Nate Suttle. He has a 92-yard kick return for a touchdown this season. Allegheny allowed a kick return last week for a touchdown, so that could be something to watch. And he also has that school record 100-yard interception. I want to see him get a little bit more involved on offense. I think he only has maybe 2 catches so far this season, but maybe some reverses, some end arounds with him, or some quick pitches or something like that to utilize his speed, because that guy can fly. And then on the defensive side for East, Keyshawn Bland, I think is key. He's a big linebacker. He's fast going side to side. He can deliver really big hits, and he's going to be a big key on stopping Des Jordan. So Topher, we'll be done here in a few minutes. Give me like a couple keys to this game for the Cougars, do you think?
Like I said before, watching the penalties, because they were last week, a lot of flags were flying. So watch it, keep it down, just play loose, have fun, don't take things seriously, we're here to have fun. They get hyped up and stuff, just don't take it overboard, just don't let emotions get in the way and just have some fun.
Well, I'm glad you said emotions, because there's a thing, it's a real thing. You can get too fired up, and when you get too fired up, it's hard to hold on to the ball. You'll see a lot of fumbles, a lot of drop passes. So I agree with that assessment of yours. With mine for East, I think they're going to pound A.J. Godfrey against his old team, see what he can do. I think they'll pound him early and often. And then I think they'll use play action with Hamrick and his receivers like Caden Stone, Jai Green, his tight end Grant Burdett, Nate Suttle. They'll get an opportunity down the field. And like I said, get Nate Suttle some more touches on offense. I think he can really break a game open once he gets a hole.
Right.
And the defense, they got to contain Des Jordan. Somebody we haven't mentioned, Carter Nicely for Allegheny, big time running back, 128 yards last week and a touchdown. And he's hurt East before in the past too, and he's a really good wrestler, so he's a strong kid. And I think that's what we're going to look for. Do we have a score prediction before we get out of here? This is a tough one to predict.
Don't really know.
SJ Needhawk Lumber has been